so nitriles kind of just have one reaction, which is if you hydrolyze them. So hydrolysis के अंदर ना, whether it's acid hydrolysis, reflux, or alkaline hydrolysis and reflux, तो जो CN है ना, that just changes into carboxylic acid. This C over here, it changes into COH. Is that clear? That's it. There's no mechanism, nothing. बस ये कि you hydrolyze it, water के अंदर sulfuric acid or alkali added reflux, heat, C turns into COH. That's it. Is that clear? Or plus एक था कि how did nitriles form? Nitriles formed when there was nucleophilic substitution of halogenoalkanes. CN-1 came in and it substituted the halogen. So CN आ गया. That's a nitrile. उसका SN1, SN2 mechanism था, which was this one. That the nucleophile OH-1 or CN-1 or NH3 that would attack the carbon, and the OH or CN or NH3 would come in and it will replace the halogen. Okay, is that clear? That's it. That's what nitriles are. Is that clear?
Okay.
I say, anyways.
Sir?
हाँ.
Sir, वैसे normally कितना रहता है organic chemistry?
खत्म हो गया. We did the mechanisms, right? Did we do the mechanisms? ये सारे. We did all of them. ठीक है. So we're done with that. I said most of it, right? Just a second. ठीक है. Is that clear? Well, there was some detail which we did the details, we did the mechanism, all of that was on the board. I said next one, I'll just quickly go through theory questions now. So here is this molecule, and it's whatever this is a natural compound found in olive oil. It has antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties, and is thought to have a protective effect against Alzheimer's. So shows optical and cis-trans isomers on the structure Q above. Circle the functional group that shows cis-trans. So where exactly is cis-trans happening in this molecule? So circle karo. So cis-trans happens on a double bond, right? And there is this double bond. That's about it. Is that clear? That's where the cis-trans would happen. Clear? And then
Sir, वो last में देखना होगा.
हाँ, ये वाला ना.
Yeah.
Plus, he's talking about the chiral carbon atom. Which one is chiral? Chiral is going to be 4 different groups. So if I zoom in, तो जो zoom in नहीं हो रहा, hang हो गया. Hold on. Just 1 second. So it's going to be this carbon atom. This is the one that's going to be chiral. This one over here. Because along this carbon atom, he wanted us to put a star over there. So all 3 sides are different, and 4th side pe kya hoga? The H is missing, so there's going to be an H. All 4 sides are different. That's the one that's chiral. All the other ones are not chiral. This one has 2 H's. This one has 2 H's. This one has 2 H's. Benzene, मैंने कहा था कि always think of benzene as 6 carbon atoms that are making alternating double bonds. That is what benzene looks like. So anything that's making a double bond is not chiral. Q can be isolated from olive oil by partitioning between 2 solvents. What is meant by the term partition? Coefficient. Ye kaun sa question aa gaya? Just a second. Actually, sorry, I've opened मैंने paper 4 open कर दिया, sorry. अच्छा, so just a second, let me open the right paper. अच्छा, theory, organic question. अच्छा, let's start with this. We'll kind of name this compound. So if you want to name this compound, that's easy. It's one. कितने carbon atoms हैं? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So bute. And does this have double bonds? I don't think it has double bonds. So it's butane, and there's a bromine that's attached on the second one. So it's 2 bromo butane. Double bond check. Okay. The first carbon has 3 H's. The second one has 2 H's. The third one has an H with a Br. Okay, that's the third one. And then you have the fourth one, which has 3 hydrogens. Or either there's a bromine. So it's a saturated molecule. This compound shows stereoisomer. Draw the 2 stereoisomers in the conventional way. So is carbon there is stereoisomerism that's happening. So we're going to draw the stereoisomers in the conventional way. So that is K. It's going to look something like this. Iske top pe there's an H. So top pe there's an H. Br, let's say bottom pair, and then there is a CH3 on this side and a CH2 CH3 on this side. So over here there is a CH3, or दूसरी side पे there is CH2 and. So this carbon is the one that's chiral, and you have to draw the mirrored version. So the mirrored version would be के dotted इस side पे आ जाएगा, and this thing would go over there, and this Br would be slightly on this side. The left to right, the CH2 CH3 would be on the extreme right now. This CH3 would be on the left. पहले वो right पे था, now it's on the left, and there's an H that's on the top. So ये आपकी 2 mirrored versions होगी. फिर वो कह रहे there are 3 other structural isomers of C4H9Br. तो C4 H9 और Br, या तो Br इधर होगा, and all of them would be H's. या फिर और क्या होगा कि वो second वाला तो उसने बना दिया, that okay, the Br could be on the second carbon atom that's already made. The other one would be that carbon chain mein Br would be over here, and all of these would be 3 H's with this, 3 H's with this. और फिर इसकी एक और version होगी where the Br would be on the middle carbon atom. और इर्द गिर्द ना 3. अच्छा, is this clear? ये clear है? Oscar, is this clear? Saim, Rizwan, clear है? Reed, is this clear?
सर
हाँ.
सर इस पे लाइक वो आपने वो किया इसका कहते हैं चेन आइसोमर्स बनाए या पोजिशनल?
उसने कहा था structural isomers draw करो, so you make all of them. Structural में positional भी था. Position is कि Br you change the position, right? These two are positional isomers. दोनों ही होंगे ना, chain, positional और functional group भी होता है, लेकिन in this case there is no functional group. अच्छा, then name this compound. Whatever this compound is, we have to name this. So there's a carbon with Br. ठीक है, that's this thing, and it's got 2 C2H5 chains. 3, sorry, C2 H5 मतलब HH. वो उधर भी है, CH2 CH3 की chain है. 3, so there's another CH2 CH3 chain, right? So this is the formula C2H5, 3 of them. So this is the molecule. So how would you name this? You would first find the longest carbon atom chain. So which one is the longest carbon atom chain? जो कौन बताएगा कि क्या है इसका नाम?
सर जो लीनियर जो चेन है हमारे पास,
ठीक है, वर्टिकल जो है ना, ये वाली?
यस सर.
So that's the longest carbon atom chain, जिसके ऊपर maximum groups attached होने चाहिए. So this one is how many carbon atoms? That's 5. तो 5s pent, right? And pentane because it's saturated, so it's going to be pentane. और फिर दो branches हैं. The branches positions are 3. They're on the third one. Okay, if this is 1, this is. अच्छा, if this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. तो अच्छा, this is
3 ब्रोमो इथाइल.
3 ethyl और 3 bromo. तो bromo पहले आएगा. And then there's going to be 3
सर
ethyl. हाँ.
सर 3 इथाइल पहले नहीं लिख सकते थे या लाइक इससे पर इफेक्ट आता
उससे
है?
फर्क तो नहीं पड़ेगा, लेकिन it is alphabetical. ठीक है, क्लियर है?
यस सर.
अच्छा, फिर complete the mechanism of this reaction including all necessary curly arrows, charges, partial arrows. तो वो OH आयन के साथ. अब ये कौन सा है? This is tertiary, primary और secondary. Which one is this?
सर टर्शरी होगा.
टर्शियरी है. तो उसमें देखो शीट के अंदर, वो किधर नोट्स. टर्शियरी हैलोजेनो एल्कीन, उसका न्यूक्लियोफिलिक सब्स्टिट्यूशन हो रही है OH के साथ. So this is primary, this is tertiary. Tertiary में क्या होता है? पहले कार्बोकैटायन फॉर्म होता है, फिर OH आयन.
SN1.
SN1 mechanism. So you're talking about the SN1 mechanism, right? So एक सेकंड, ये तो पुराना, इसको हटा देते हैं. Just a second. अच्छा, तो इसके अंदर फर्स्ट थिंग इज द कार्बोकैटायन विल बी फॉर्म्ड. वो एरोज उसने सारे शो करने को कहा है, तो एरो शो करो. स्लाइड नेगेटिव है, ये वाला स्लाइड पॉजिटिव है. अच्छा, एनीवेज you've got CH3 CH2 carbon and then there is another CH3. अच्छा, bottom पे there is CH2 CH3. So carbocation is formed, the Br leaves, and then the OH-1 nucleophile with its lone pairs, it's going to make the entry and it's going to eventually form the alcohol. तो बन जाएगा alcohol. तो बस complete कर लो. The CH2 और वो था SN.
सर
It's SN1, right? हाँ जी.
सर सर वो जो नॉर्मली हमारे पास क्वेश्चन आता है, अगर उसके अंदर लाइक लेट्स सपोज यहाँ पे मेंशन है कि लॉन फेज और पार्शियल चार्जेस को मेंशन करना है, अगर वो मेंशन ना किया हो तो उसके बावजूद भी हमें लिखना होगा?
हाँ, सब कुछ मैकेनिज्म आएगा. वो इसलिए लिख देते हैं पहले. प्रीवियसली दे डिडंट यूज्ड टू राइट, बट दे गिव मार्क्स फॉर एवरीथिंग. ठीक है. अच्छा, so moving on, this one, give the reagents and conditions necessary for the conversion of compound into a mixture of alkene. So which is this? This is halogenoalkane wala elimination. You've got a halogenoalkane and you're going to वापस जाना है. NOH ethanolic concentrated elimination happens and it turns into an alkene. So what happens in this is कि एक तो वो concentrated NOH, right? Ethanolic. ठीक है, that's pretty much it. और क्या था? I mean that's it. इसका वैसे just for हाँ.
सर ये NaOH aqueous होगा?
नहीं, aqueous में तो substitution होती है. aqueous होगा ना तो अल्कोहल बन जाएगा. एथेनॉलिक, ये डिफरेंस याद रखना कि OH आयंस aqueous होंगे ना तो वो फिर substitution होगी. एथेनॉलिक में होता है वो it's elimination. I just write if heat is required, the concept 2216. 1 second, very quickly. इसकी MS open कर लेते हैं. Is this all? One second. ये वाला था question. So and heat होना must है. वही मैं कह रहा हूँ, इसके अंदर missing है ये. Ethanolic elimination, heat is needed for this. इसका हीट ऐड कर देना, ठीक है, क्योंकि उसी का मुझे शक था, कंप्लीट नहीं था. So make sure you write heat with this. Is that clear?
सर हीट एंड रिफ्लक्स लिखना होगा या
Just heat. That's it. If I give the name of the mechanism for the conversion in one, that's elimination. That's going to be name of the mechanism for conversion in one. यही वाला है ना? So that is elimination. इसका भी देख लेते हैं. Why are they asking? क्योंकि syllabus पर तो इसका mechanism नहीं है. लेकिन वही बस elimination है लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पे. ठीक है, that is elimination. That's it. ठीक है. So they weren't really out looking for any details about it, whether it was nucleophilic or whatever, just elimination. Draw the skeletal formula of the three alkenes. So what were the three alkenes? The alkenes would be, okay, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon atoms. And the Br is on the second last. So Br is going to be removed from here, and the double bond would either appear over here or it would either appear on this side. Ye clear hai? Okay, you're going to get two alkenes. Either the double bond is here or the double bond is here. So वो three alkenes क्यों लिखा हुआ वहां पे? He's asking you to draw three alkenes. What is the third alkene?
सर वो सिस या ट्रांस का शायद.
ठीक है, this one would be cis trans. The end one will not be cis trans क्योंकि उसके साथ तो दो, there would be two H's, right? So that is not going to be cis trans. The middle one would be. So तो वो आपने शो करना है. I mean, just a second. 3 नहीं, third के ऊपर you have to show. So and he's asking for the skeletal formula. So it's going to be double bond. ठीक है, that's one carbon atom and two carbon atoms. उसके बाद there's one carbon atom and there would be कितने carbon atoms? 3. 1 second, it's 1. No, just 2. Actually, that's your cis version. And then there would be a trans version. Trans version would be, okay, you will have a double bond in the middle, and one side, so you don't have to show carbon, skeletal formulas. So in the trans version, this bond would be pointing again the carbon, pata nahi kyun show kar diya. Skeletal formulas don't show the carbon atoms. As the double bond would be, I mean, the bond over here will be pointing in the opposite direction. This is going to be your trans version. And then there would be a last one that would be, okay, 5 carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the double bond is right at the end. Is that clear? Ye clear?
Yes, sir.
Achha, baki phir next one, it's about radicals. Usne 6 particles. You identify 2 particles produced during the reaction mechanism of methane and chlorine in the presence of UV light. So ये दो तो बनते हैं, Cl के radicals बनते हैं, and you get CH3 radicals. क्या था mechanism? The mechanism was that first step, the Cl would break homolytically, right? And that would produce two radicals. Is that clear? उसके बाद क्या होता था? Propagation. Propagation was कि you had a CH4 molecule. A Cl radical would come in, उसके bonds कम है, ठीक है? It would want some, so it will steal one of the H's. तो फिर CH3 का radical बन जाता था, क्योंकि अब उसके bonds पूरे नहीं है. Then you have a CH3 radical, and that CH3 radical wants, it will attack a chlorine molecule and steal one of the Cl atoms. So it will become CH3Cl, and a Cl radical would be again formed. और फिर चलता रहता था. फिर CH3Cl will get attacked by a Cl radical. The Cl radical would steal one of the hydrogens. It would form HCl, and a CH2Cl radical would be produced. फिर वो CH2Cl मतलब चलता इस तरह चलता रहेगा. और फिर termination में the two radicals, random radicals would just add up. अच्छा, identify 2 particles that are produced by the heterolytic fission of a bond in chloromethane. पहला clear है? 1 clear है? Saim clear है? Osma,
Yes, sir.
Sidra. अच्छा, मुझे बताओ, वो कह रहा है कि 2 particles identify करो which are produced by the heterolytic fission of a bond. Which of the bonds is going to heterolytically break?
Sir, Cl.
ठीक है, Cl का bond break होता है, because if you look at the nucleophilic halogenoalkanes की kind of substitution SN1 SN2. But with tertiary halogenoalkanes, it's the Cl bond that usually breaks away because Cl wants the electrons. And it will be heterolytic because Cl is more electronegative. So Cl is going to take both of those electrons with it. So it's going to be heterolytic fission. So अगर तो bond electrons ये ले गया, कौन से दो particles बनेंगे? There's going to be a CH3+1 ion. And the other one would be a Cl-1 ion. Is that clear? You clear?
Yes, sir.
So then you have 7 reactions. Name the type of reaction that involved in Tollens reagent. Tollens reagent किस में use होता था aldehydes की? What did it do in सारों में से? Tollens, Fellings, K2Cr2O7, KMNO4, ये वाला part. You had oxidation, right? Tollens was used for oxidation. So ये वाला तो clearly it's oxidation. Name the type of reaction involved in the test for carbonyl group using 2,4-DNPH. ये 2,4-DNPH का मैंने कराया भी था. This was condensation. मतलब ये notes के अंदर है. I'll just ये खोलने पड़ेंगे एक सेकेंड. ठीक है. Tollens was where is ये वाले notes use कर रहा था. अच्छा, so this one कि 2,4-DNPH this was 2,4-DNPH. ये हमने side पे किया था. Okay, I told you most of the time they're not going to ask for the reaction, but this is a type of condensation reaction because अच्छा हमने लिखा नहीं था यहाँ पे. But I'll add to this. Okay, it's a condensation reaction because a water molecule is produced. I say it's produced. This is 2,4-DNPH. You get an orange precipitate with aldehydes and ketones. So name the type of reaction involved in the test for a carbonyl group using 2,4-DNPH, that is condensation. Right? Is that clear? Okay, name the type of reaction involved in the reaction of a ketone with NaBH4. What is that? Ketone with NaBH4. Ketone with NaBH4 volta hota, that's reduction. You go back to an alcohol, a secondary alcohol. So NaBH4 जो है वो LiLH4, that's used for reduction. So this one, name the type of reaction involved, that's going to be so that's going to be reduction. Name the type of reaction involved, the reaction of an aldehyde with HCN. So वो nucleophilic addition है, that's aldehyde or ketones, they both undergo with HCN, they undergo nucleophilic addition. So nucleophilic तो नहीं लिखा हुआ यहाँ पे, but addition लिखा हुआ है. I mean, even if you write the complete name, it's still going to be correct. Is that clear? ये clear है सारों को?
Yes, sir.
Achha, then the next one is let's try and open. I'll just do organic papers right now, theory papers. Achha, this one, let's try and do March 16 question paper 2 PDF. 1 second. Achha, now this one is organic comp. I think this one. This is start ho jata. Nee, this is not organic. अच्छा, this part is organic. उसको अगला question organic है. So let's try and do this one. So he's saying the reaction of hydrogen cyanide with propanone is an important first step. Give the full name. तो ये वही वाला reaction है. This is the same reaction, aldehyde ketones, nucleophilic addition, HCN, NaCN, that will produce cyanohydrin. इसका mechanism भी दिया हुआ नीचे. ठीक है, the mechanism for this reaction is, कहाँ पे nucleophilic addition सबसे पहला था. The mechanism of this reaction is कि you're going to have an HCN, NaCN catalyst. The ketone or aldehyde, any carbonyl group, will turn into COH, and a CN will also get attached to it. ऊपर वाला OH में change हो जाएगा, नीचे वाला CN में. उसका mechanism क्या था? The CN-1 nucleophile will get attracted to the polar bond over here, which is, it's got a carbon which is or slight positive. So the CN-1 is going to get attached to it. CN जाके जुड़ जाएगा, and the double bond O pi electron cloud will get pushed upwards. Negative charge आ रहा है नीचे, so it's connecting with it, and the electrons in the double bond will get pushed upwards. वहां पे the negative charge would accumulate, and then it will attract the H+1 from HCN, and it will form an alcohol. So the serial bond O turns into, so this is nucleophilic addition, and he's asking for the mechanism as well for this reaction. तो वो बना भी देते हैं, नाम भी लिख देते हैं कि the name is nucleophilic. This is, the name is nucleophilic addition. सारे लोन पेज वगैरह, everything has to be drawn exactly in the same way. जैसा मैंने notes में दिया हुआ, exactly same way you're going to draw this, and you'll have CH3, C, CH3. The CN has gotten attached at the bottom, और वो top पे ना oxygen अब बैठा है with its electrons now, क्योंकि the double bond has been pushed upwards. फिर H+1 घूम रहा है, तो वो electrons, they get attracted to the H+1, and they end up forming the alcohol at the top, and you'll have two CH3s over here. So that's the entire mechanism of the reaction. Everything, don't miss anything. Everything has to be drawn exactly the same way. So next is, you've got he's saying the following compounds are all components of a sample of petrol. Give the molecular formula of compound G. तो वो तो कोई मसला नहीं. That's 4 carbon atoms, and hydrogens कितने हैं? वो 2 2 4 6 10. अच्छा, so there are 10 hydrogen atoms. Give the empirical formula. कितने हैं इसमें? 3 carbons, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. So it has 8 carbons. Hydrogens count, that's 9. 9 and 2, that's so 9 and 2 would be 11, and 1 12, 12 and 6, that's 18. So what's the empirical formula? It's going to be C9H, sorry, C4H9. So it's going to be C4. इसका क्या कह रहा है? Skeletal formula. Skeletal formula is, you've got 1 2 3 4 5 carbon atoms. ठीक है, so it's 1 2. मतलब इधर से start कर लेते हैं. So it looks like this. The carbon atoms, they look like this. ठीक है, so 1 2 carbon atoms is, this one has 2 carbon atoms, and this one has 1, and there's an OH that's attached on this one. So there's an OH that is attached on this one, and that's the skeletal formula. ठीक है, ये clear है? This one clear है? Saim Sidra also, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, अब ये कि a combustion product of H, both आसान है. It's going to be carbon dioxide and H2, right? So fossil fuels are often contaminated with sulfur. Can you explain why supplies of fossil fuels और a problem तो acid rain का बता दो कि sulfur burns, sulfur it turns into SO2 when fossil fuels burn. Inorganic से इसका ज्यादा ताल्लुक है. So when fossil fuels burn तो क्या होता है? What does SO2 do? So it's going to cause acid rain, right? Clear?
Yes, sir.
और acid rain होगी तो बस वो बता दो क्या होगा acid rain से. Soil and water bodies would become acidic. So they become acidic, and because of that, skin and eye irritation. बड़े सारे मसले होंगे, ठीक है. बाकी explain the difference in boiling points of the three compound boiling points का question आ गया. So that's about intermolecular forces. In तीनों में which one is going to have the highest boiling point?
Sir, H.
कौन सा?
H.
क्यों?
Sir, I think H और J में से कोई होगा. I guess J होगा.
और बताओ क्यों?
क्योंकि ज्यादा branched है, ज्यादा van der Waals होंगी तो.
और कोई नहीं है van der Waals के अलावा? There's nothing else. मतलब OH की वजह से कौन सी intermolecular force होती है?
Yeah, sir, hydrogen bond, sorry. Hydrogen bond.
अच्छा, तो बेसिकली ये जीत गया हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग, ठीक है. अच्छा, ऑल ऑफ देम आई थिंक हैव द सेम. अच्छा, दिस इज द विनर, ठीक है. हाईएस्ट मेल्टिंग पॉइंट. तो आप क्या बताओगे कि इट्स गॉट हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड्स, एंड हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड्स आर द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्स, रिलेटिवली द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट. फिर इन दोनों में they both have van der Waals forces. Actually all of them have van der Waals, ठीक है. तो इसके पास भी van der Waals है, and this one also has van der Waals forces. लेकिन तीसरे को तो हम कंसिडर नहीं करें because that already has hydrogen bonding, so it's the winner, has the highest boiling point. But which one, van der Waals, what does van der Waals depend on?
Sir, atoms जितने ज्यादा होंगे like उस पर डिपेंड करता है, तो H ज्यादा है तो वहाँ पे
ठीक है,
ज्यादा होगा.
तो bigger size, more van der Waals forces, that's it, ठीक है. So you just have to explain all of this. First one, this one has the highest boiling point. Why? Because it's got hydrogen bonding. और फिर वो बताना भी है कि hydrogen bonding, more energy is needed to break hydrogen bonds. These two have van der Waals forces, but H van der Waals forces only. But H has more van der Waals forces because it's a bigger molecule, so it requires more energy to overcome those forces. As anyways, वो कह रहे compound J can be produced from 2-chloro-3-methyl butane. तो वो कह रहे Cl को displace करना है किसके साथ? OH के साथ. वो if you go back, so your H had what? It had Cl की जगह there must be an OH. So what do? Cl displace it with OH. So how do you do that? It's वो PCl5 वाला reaction है कि नहीं, sorry, Cl को OH के साथ displace करना है, so that's nucleophilic substitution, NaOH aqueous and reflux, and it turns into an alcohol, SN1 SN2 mechanism. So तो इसका तो वो है कि it's going to be NaOH aqueous plus reflux. Is that clear? Clear है?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, ये वाला क्वेश्चन आ गया. This is NaBH4. NaBH4 क्या करता है? Turns a ketone.
Reduction.
ठीक है, और कीटोन की रिडक्शन. NaBH4 कहाँ गया? NaBH4, you got a
Secondary
ketone,
alcohol.
तो वापस अल्कोहल. मतलब आपने वो सेकेंडरी और प्राइमरी को नहीं सोचना, बस turn it into an alcohol, that's it. So this one over here will kind of be the same thing, except that it will turn into an alcohol. ठीक है, ऐसा क्लियर? अच्छा, फिर ये KMnO4 ऑक्सीडेशन होती है ना, KMnO4, कोल्ड KMnO4, ketones are not oxidized. ठीक है, if you look at the chart, ketones have no further oxidation. मतलब aldehydes get oxidized but not ketones. लेकिन alkene है, तो when you do mild oxidation, cold dilute alkaline KMnO4, what happens to alkenes?
डायोल।
तो they turn into diols. तो इसमें सब कुछ वही रहेगा, the ketone, nothing should happen to the ketone. ये डबल बॉन्ड जो है ना, ये खत्म हो जाएगा, डबल बॉन्ड की जगह OH ऐड हो जाएंगे on both carbon atoms. That's going to give you a
सर
हाँ
सर वो मल्टीपल सिनेरियोज किस में क्रिएट होते हैं?
strong oxidation.
ओके सर।
मतलब स्ट्रॉन्ग ऑक्सीडेशन, हॉट कॉन्सेंट्रेट KMnO4 होगा तो डबल बॉन्ड टूटेगा और फिर मल्टीपल सिनेरियोज होंगे. कोई कार्बन चेन नहीं, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड कार्बन चेन है, that's carboxylic acid. Two carbon chains, that's going to be ketones, right?
ओके सर।
अच्छा, so this one you have nickel और H2. ये हाइड्रोजनेशन है, ठीक है, this is hydrogenation. So this will turn into, वो जो डबल बॉन्ड है ना वो खत्म हो जाएगा, that will turn into, उसके साथ H ऐड हो जाएंगे, बस. ठीक है, the H's will get added. You don't show the H's in the skeletal formula. अच्छा, इसका थोड़ा सा इशू ये, just be careful कि जो हाइड्रोजन और निकल है ना, it also reduces the ketone as well sometimes. But since it's not in your course, so just keep the ketone as it is. और ये आइडोफोम टेस्ट है. आइडोफोम टेस्ट में क्या होता था? आइडोफोम टेस्ट था कि if I draw this molecule,
अल्काइल चेन।
alkyl chain नहीं, वो CH3 होना चाहिए next to, मतलब ये molecule है ना, this is the molecule, right? So this is the iodoform test. What was the iodoform test? ये the site पे बना हुआ है, ठीक है. The iodoform test was for a specific group where you have a methyl next to a acetyl double bond O. So इस case में what happens is that the methyl breaks away and turns into CHI3. और जो दूसरा part है ना, that turns into a salt of the carboxylic acid because it's alkaline conditions. ठीक है, ये clear है?
सर
हाँ.
सर वो आप आइडोफॉर्म टेस्ट को फिर से दिखा सकते हैं?
हाँ,
सर इसमें पहले वाले के साथ आइडोफॉर्म टेस्ट पॉजिटिव आएगा, दूसरे वाले के साथ?
दोनों के साथ आएगा, मतलब दोनों में से कोई भी होगा. It identifies two structures. One of them is this one, CH3 next to serial bond O, or CH3 next to CHOH.
ओके सर।
दोनों के साथ same चीज, both the same thing would happen. CHI3 yellow press plate, and this CRC carboxylic, it changes into a carboxylic acid, but a salt of the carboxylic acid because the conditions are alkaline. ठीक है, तो उसे क्या स्ट्रक्चर्स बता दो मेरे को, तो हमने बता दिए सारे. और वो उसने वो भी कहा होगा, give the systematic name of compound P. तो P को फिगर आउट करते हैं. what is P? अच्छा, this one, क्या नेम है इसका? systematic name 1. how many carbon atoms? that's 1 2 3 4 5. क्या होगा? it's going to be pent what? आगे बताओ क्या होगा? AN होगा, EN होगा?
सर इन होगा।
और end suffix, what is the suffix? it's a ketone, right? so it's going to be ONE.
सर ओन होगा।
ठीक है, पोजीशन बताओ सारों की. काउंटिंग किस साइड से करोगे? you'll count from the left side or the right side?
लेफ्ट।
तो ओन जो है वो तो 2 पे बैठा है, और इन जो है ना वो बैठा है 3rd पे, राइट?
यस सर।
so अच्छा, so this one is pent 3 in 2 on. और क्या पूछा उसने? हाँ, ये अब इंटरेस्टिंग है, ये अगला वाला एक्चुअली काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है. अच्छा, what would you observe when compound P? टाइम तो हो गया, लेकिन ये क्वेश्चन, the next part is more interesting because that's
ऑरेंज प्रेसिपिटेट।
हाँ. अच्छा, what would you observe when compound P is
वो
react? पहले तो देख लो ना, होगा भी
ऑरेंज
क्यों होगा ऑरेंज प्रेसिपिटेट? क्योंकि ये कीटोन है.
कीटोन।
तो aldehyde और ketones, both of them would give an orange precipitate with 2,4-D in pH, both of them. ठीक है. अच्छा, अब अगला बड़ा फिट क्वेश्चन है जो अगला है ना, that's what is, उसने क्या U को फिगर आउट करो. अच्छा, this question has got nothing to do with the previous one. अच्छा, ये this is like solving a puzzle. B, इसका पीछे से कोई ताल्लुक नहीं है. So you've got B, you've got C5H8O. That's the first information that you have. There are 5 carbon atoms, 8 hydrogens, and there's 1 oxygen. What is the information that you can derive from it? First one, it contains a chiral center. I'm going to write down the information. So the first information that you got over here is that it's got a chiral center. And it has the same molecular formula as P. वो तो दे दिया उसने. अच्छा, it readily decolorizes bromine water. What information do you get from this bromine water?
Alkene.
So it's an alkene. So it's got a double bond as well. So it's got a chiral center, it's got a double bond as well. Does not show cis-trans isomerism. What does that mean?
Single bond होगा.
नहीं, मतलब double bond तो होगा, but both sides would be the same. Like if it's
Yes, it's symmetrical होंगे.
well, symmetrical नहीं होंगे, but the two groups that are attached to the carbon in the double bond would be the same. So it's got a double bond that does not make cis-trans, right? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Achha, when it is heated and reflux in the presence of dichromate 6, the organic product gives the infrared spectrum shown. अच्छा, एक तो K2Cr2O7 के साथ. So that means it must be an alcohol or an aldehyde. क्योंकि वो react करते हैं ना, K2Cr2O7 reflux, the alcohol gets oxidized to an aldehyde, or maybe the aldehyde gets turned into K2Cr2O7, it turns into a carboxylic acid. So इसका मतलब it's either an aldehyde or it's a carboxylic acid. लेकिन he's using reflux. तो reflux में जो organic product बनता है, what is that? Is that an aldehyde or a carboxylic acid? If you
carboxylic acid.
Because when you reflux, the reaction is not going to stop. It's going to go all the way to carboxylic acid. तो इसका मतलब ये जो product बना बना, that is definitely a carboxylic acid. वो तो मैं पहले ही पता लग गया, it's a carboxylic acid. And is this a carboxylic acid? It is, क्योंकि there's a broad absorption. So there's this broad absorption. तो हमें पता तो लग गया कि the product is carboxylic acid.
Sir.
हाँ.
So by the way, like इस topic का वो mass spectroscopy के साथ जो abundance वाला topic था, उससे कोई like relatable है?
नहीं, infrared तो वो था, simple था ज़्यादा. Infrared था कि this is the infrared spectrum. तो हमारे पास ना 2500 3000 में there's a strong and very broad absorption, right? तो वो कौन सा bond है जो vibrate कर रहा है? That's OH that belongs to the carboxylic acid. इसका mass spectrum से usually link नहीं होगा, लेकिन वो link कर भी सकते हैं. तो ये clear हो गया कि strong and very broad. We have a strong and very broad absorption, ये 25-3000 range में. So that is, हाँ.
सर ये याद करने पड़ेंगे?
नहीं, वो दिया होगा. ठीक है, ये clear है? Okay, that's an OH in carboxylic acid. और ये क्या है? Acyl bond हो. मैंने कहा था दो bonds को ना हमेशा सबसे पहले identify करना. And those two bonds are that you look for OH and you look for. So you're going to look for, always try to look for OH, whether it is present or it's not present, and then look for serial bond O. So there's a strong absorption at C 1600, 1700. So if you go back, there is a strong absorption. तो इसका मतलब है कि it is a carboxylic acid. तो वो जो U होगा, what is U then? We figured out that the product is carboxylic acid. So U would either be an aldehyde or it would be an alcohol. Is that clear as well?
Yes, sir. Sir, तो इसको like analyze कैसे करना होगा इस ग्राफ को?
See, analyze हो गया.
No sir, like वो spectrum के basis पर आप कैसे like analyze करते हैं कि यहाँ पे मतलब ये range होनी
देखो
चाहिए?
ये 3000 पे absorption हो रही है ना. So all you have to do is कहाँ गए? अच्छा, all you have to do is strong and very broad हो रही है ना. Strong का मतलब है कि बहुत ज़्यादा absorption हो रही है, and it's a very broad absorption. Is that clear?
ओके सर, तो डेटा बुकलेट में से लाइक जो गिवन होगा उसको उसके हिसाब से प्रेडिक्ट
हाँ,
करना होगा।
उसमें ज्यादातर का नहीं पता लगता, OH का पता लग जाता है कि there's only very very broad absorption for OH, that's it. क्लियर है कि
यस सर।
कि जब भी 3000 के इर्द गिर्द ना, there's a very broad absorption, that's OH, and that is a very specific OH, that's a OH that belongs to carboxylic acid. और फिर serial bond O के ऊपर अगर absorption, that's going to be a broad absorption, that's strong, and that one is also, इन दोनों का बड़े क्लियरली पता लग जाता है, ठीक है, क्लियर है।
यस सर।
अच्छा, तो इसका मतलब है कि हमें नहीं पता, वी नो कि द प्रोडक्ट इज अ कार्बोक्सिलिक एसिड, वी फिगर्ड आउट द मतलब वी डिडंट इवन नीड दिस, वो तो हमने पहले ही फिगर आउट कर लिया था, क्योंकि इफ यू आर रिफ्लक्सिंग इट, इट्स प्रोबब्ली गोइंग टू फॉर्म अ कार्बोक्सिलिक एसिड, लेकिन वो नहीं पता कि यू क्या, इज इट एन एल्डिहाइड और इज इट अ कार्बोक्सिलिक एसिड। नाउ बेस्ड ऑन दिस ये इन्फॉर्मेशन मिली है, कोई और इन्फॉर्मेशन तो नहीं है, दैट्स द ओनली इन्फॉर्मेशन। Try and figure out what this molecule is. Draw the structure. अब ट्रायल एंड एरर करना पड़ेगा। you've got a double bond, right? अब मुझे तो कितने कार्बन रह गए मेरे पास? I've left with, अच्छा इसको पहली बात है सिस ट्रांस नहीं होना, so let's put an H over here, ठीक है, is that clear? तो it's got a double bond that doesn't make cis trans. अच्छा फिर it has to be chiral as well, so अगला जो कार्बन है ना, that's got to be chiral, तो उसके ना 4 डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स होने चाहिए। कितने कार्बन रह गए मेरे पास? I've got I'm going to
टू।
use I'm going to use 2 carbons over here and I'm going to use an H over here, और फिर यहाँ पे OH कर देते हैं, ठीक है, क्लियर है। तो इसके साथ कितने H हो गए?
यस
2,
सर।
इसके साथ 3 H and there's 1 H। फॉर्मूला बन रहा है ये कि नहीं बन रहा? C5 H कितने हो गए? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7,
यस सर, कंप्लीट है।
नहीं नहीं 10
सर 10 एक्चुअली 10।
10 है, तो इसका मतलब है ये अल्कोहल U is either aldehyde, so ये मैंने carboxylic acid लिख दिया, it's either going to be an aldehyde or a carboxylic acid, so or an alcohol। तो अल्कोहल तो निकालना पड़ेगा क्योंकि it can't be an alcohol, because if I put an alcohol over there तो बात नहीं बनेगी, जिसका मतलब है मेरी CH3 हटाते हैं, एल्डिहाइड बना देते हैं इसको। एक तो इसको कैरल रखना है, आई हैव टू कीप दिस कैरल एट ऑल कॉस्ट, तो I'll make this an aldehyde, तो वो CH3 पे इधर शिफ्ट कर देता हूँ। अब मुझे बताओ कि अब फॉर्मूला बन रहा है पूरा, H2 कम हो गए, सॉरी 8 हो गए।
यस सर।
तो इसका मतलब इट्स गॉट अ कैरल सेंटर है, इट्स गॉट अ डबल बॉन्ड दैट डजंट मेक सिस ट्रांस, दैट इज देयर, इट्स गॉट एन एल्डिहाइड क्योंकि इनमें ये कार्बोक्सिलिक एसिड बन रहा था, सो दैट्स एन एल्डिहाइड दैट विल गेट ऑक्सीडाइज्ड। बस ये सारी चीजें पूरी हो गई, सो that's the molecule, it's a 4 mark question। तो उसने कहा यूज द इंफॉर्मेशन, उसके अंदर आप ये सारा बताओगे, ये आपका एनालिसिस होगा, या आप लिखोगे इट्स गॉट अ कैरल सेंटर, इट्स गॉट, इसी के ऊपर लिख लो, मतलब अपना एनालिसिस ना कि किस तरह फिगर आउट किया था, ठीक है। चलो ठीक है, खत्म करते हैं, ठीक है, ये 2 पेपर्स हो गए। चलो ओके एवरीवन।
सर।
हाँ
सर ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री फिनिश हो गई है?
हाँ, वैसे तो फिनिश हो गई है, हमने ऐसे बीच में तो फिर वो हमने स्किप ही कर दी थी हमने उस, लेकिन वो कवर कर ली थी हमने, वो जो चीजें मिसिंग थी, ठीक है।
ओके सर।
मेनली तो ये जो चार्ट है ना, जो 3 4 पेजेस है इसके अंदर, तो सारी ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री इसी के अंदर ही शामिल है, बाकी तो वो छोटे छोटे बीच में थोड़ी छोटी डिटेल्स हैं जो उधर नोट्स में लिखी हुई है, ठीक है।
सर।
हाँ जी।
सर वो जो इलेक्ट्रोकेमिस्ट्री जो है,
हाँ वो तो सिर्फ रीडॉक्स है।
या या सर वो अगर आप बाय चांस अगर आपके पास लाइक सिलेबस कंप्लीट करने के बाद आपके पास टाइम है तो वो कंप्लीट करवा देंगे, फिर से रिव्यू करा देंगे उसका।
ठीक है ठीक है,
ओके सर।
चलिए ओके।